Some journeys don't begin with a map, but with a burden. Some sermons aren't spoken, but lived. The road stretched ahead, dusty and uncertain. Eliah's feet were sore, but it wasn't the walk that burdened him, it was the weight he carried inside. Questions with no answers. Regrets with no relief. He had heard stories of peace, of truth, of something more. But to him, they were just words, until he met him. The stranger appears, it wasn't dramatic. There was no thunder, no lightning. Just a quiet figure sitting beneath a fig tree, tracing the dirt with a twig. The stranger looked up as Eliah passed, eyes steady, kind, timeless. "You look for what you already carry," the stranger said, as though he had been waiting. So begins a conversation, not filled with answers, but with truth. The stranger speaks not of rules or rewards, but of seeing. "You see the world is broken," he says. "But what if it's longing to be healed? For you?" Eliah doesn't fully understand, but something shifts. The stranger blesses the journey ahead, not with promises, but with purpose. The river and the dream. Eliah sat by the river, watching the current move without effort. He had tried to do everything right. Prayed, helped, forgave. But the world didn't feel any softer. People still lied, stole from others. Doubts still lingered. His heart still slipped into anger. "Lord," he whispered, fingers digging into the dirt, "I'm trying. But walking in your footsteps feels like chasing the wind." Behind him, an old man's voice broke the silence. "Do you think the wind tries to chase itself, or just goes where it's meant to?" The old man sat beside him. Even Peter sank when he looked away from Jesus, but Jesus was God. "I'm not." "No, but you were made in His image. The footsteps aren't there to shame you. They're there to guide you, one at a time." Eliah looked down. Footprints lined the riverbank, some shallow, some deep. "Some of us leave shallow marks," the old man said. "But even the shallow ones are moving forward." He woke up, but the footprints remained. A dream, yet more than a dream. The wisdom of shallow marks. The old man stared ahead, firelight dancing in his eyes. The world teaches us to run, to conquer. But few teach us how to endure. That's where you'll find the ones who walk in His footsteps. Eliah nodded, thinking over his dream. The lesson settled deep. He then continued with his journey. The girl who sings in the village square. Eliah paused as a girl sang an old song. Her dress patched, her smile wide. She sang away sadness with a melody passed down by her mother. In her voice, he heard hope, the kind that blooms without wealth. Eliah had started noticing things that didn't touch high before, and he took each listen with him moving forward. The woman who forgives. Eliah found himself outside a quiet house. A woman invited him to sit beside her. "My son stole from me. Twice. He came back last winter. I let him in. You forgave him?" I remembered who I was when I first held him. It helped me remember who I wanted to be now. There was no bitterness. Only ache and grace. Love is stronger than being right. Her words stayed with him longer than most sermons ever had. The man who feed by a crooked cart, a man roasted maize. "You look like a traveler. Have you eaten? I don't have much to offer. I've been given more than I can carry. Sit." Others came, elderly, children, a quiet boy. He fed them all. "When I have enough, yes. When I don't, I still try. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow's not mine yet. I give what I can today. If Jesus could break bread for thousands, I trust my little is enough." A girl who chose joy by the stream, a girl danced. "You walk like your heart is too heavy. Want to spin with me? I'm not sure I remember how. Just close your eyes. Pretend the sky is hugging you." Her parents were gone. Yet she smiled. Jesus cried too, didn't he? But he still made people smile. I want to be like that. Her joy was a defiant kind of faith. Again something shifted in Eliah. He took the lesson and moved on with his journey. The weight that softened. Eliah sat beneath the fig tree to reflect and hoping to eat the stranger again. Stars whispered above. He thought of the woman who forgave. The man who fed the poor, the fatherless. The child who danced. And in each of them, a glimpse of the one he sought. They don't even know they're teaching. No halos. no choirs. But holiness, undeniable. Maybe I've been searching for a throne, when all along, he's been walking beside us in dust and scars. The tree rustled. He listened, no longer chasing, but finally hearing the footsteps in the dust. We are not called to be perfect. We are called to be the willing ones, hands open, hearts humbled, feet ready. Because of the greatest legacy of the greatest man in history, is that he left a path that even the weakest of us can walk, if we dare to believe, and love. The greatest man in history had no servants yet they called him master. Had no degree yet they called him teacher. Had no medicines yet they called him healer. He had no army, yet kings feared him. He won no military battles, yet he conquered the world. He did not live in a castle, yet they called him the greatest man in history. He had no servants, yet they called master. He had no degree, yet they called him teacher. He had no medicines, yet they called him healer. He had no army, yet kings feared him. He won no military battles, yet he conquered the world. He did not live in a castle, yet they him Lord. He ruled no nations, yet they called him king. He committed no crime, yet they crucified him. He was buried in a tomb, yet he lives today. His kingdom is not of this world, yet it lies in the hearts of those who believe. He spoke of love and forgiveness, and his words transformed millions. He offers no material wealth, yet we consider him the treasure of our lives. He promises no earthly powers, yet in his name the powerless have found strength. Though he left no written words, his message has filled countless pages. In his weakness we find our strength. In his suffering our salvation. Jesus, the greatest man in history, continues to invite us into a story of redemption, love and eternal life. His name is Jesus Christ.